Alright, this is part 2 of my video where I'm going to use the Food Saver vacuum sealer. And I really like to use this for meats, fish, especially salmon. Here in Alaska we get some awesome salmon, and it's nice to have it all vacuum sealed. So what I'm planning on doing is vacuum sealing and adding a little marinade to some of those steaks. And then what I want to do is with that cubed meat, which I'm probably going to use some of it for shish kebab and all kinds of stuff, recipes for stews and all that. It's pretty fresh stuff, so what I'm going to do is vacuum seal it just as is. I'm going to break this big sucker down into smaller portions so that when I reach for it, when I'm going to do something on the grill, I got just a nice portion to use on the spot rather than having to deal with a huge amount. So I really like this sealer. It works great. These bags are awesome. Got these perforations that make the air come through and seal it all nice together. So it's pretty simple. What you do is you just push this down, put a seal on it. And one thing I've learned is when you first put the seal on it, you want to make sure you let it air out before you put anything in the bag or before you mess with it. See, it gets a little sticky. So the plastic melts and runs this line, and while it's hot it's still pliable and you can get air coming through. So yeah, I usually wait a minute and then load it up. So I'm going to do a couple of those for all the different meats I got going here. And I'm going to make up another batch of that really awesome marinade with the garlic and the ginger, onion. That stuff's just so good. Alright, so I'll seal another one. And I'm a cheapskate. These bags cost like $27 for like a three roll pack. And what I do is, after I've taken something out of the freezer and I've used the contents, what I'll do is I'll fold it inside out and stick it in the dishwasher on like 4 of those little knobs that they have there for glasses and dishes. So picture this inside out on there, and it gets all cleaned off, and then you can reuse them because it's pretty durable plastic. It'll go a couple times before it's just no good anymore. So that one looks good. So I'm going to do about, I don't know, let's see. I'm going to do some of these steaks in there with the marinade, some of these nice nuggets I'll put in one, and then this is the shish kebab and stew meat, and I'll do that probably in about, I guess that looks like to me about three different portions. So yeah, I just have a mat knife going, and I just run the mat knife along the edge of my table here, get a nice straight cut, and get some bags going. So a lot of what I'm thinking about doing with prepping is adding some ideas that I have about prepping, because I've seen a lot of really cool stuff out there as far as weapons go and food storage and all kinds of tactical ideas and things like that. And I think what I have to offer, I guess, is making the most out of the least. I've lived on a budget at times when I was younger, and I've lived on just virtually nothing for a while. And I've worked as a cook, I've worked as a construction worker guy, I've worked all kinds of jobs, so I've learned a lot, and it's nice to be able to share that info. If it helps anyone with prepping, then I'll be a happy camper. And living here in Alaska, we've just got so many, it's just incredible amounts of wildlife and game and things that you can use in your prepping. Things that grow here. I'm about to start a garden, and things that grow in Alaska, it's like superfood. You just throw some seeds in the ground and you get some monster stuff. So these chunks I'm going to save. I'm going to mark this one because this is the really good sirloin. I'll use that to wrap it. Take some of these pieces and wrap some bacon around it, season it, put it on the grill. It's just amazing, delicious stuff. Alright, so I got one going here. So that's the goodies. I'll go ahead and preload these steaks and then just put a bit of the marinade on there. So that way, when you vacuum seal steaks with marinade, it tends to force the marinade into the meat better than if you were just to have it, you know, hodgepodge in the bag loosely, like if it were a Ziploc bag. I try and get it to where it's just right, so when I seal that up, there's not going to be too much wasted. That works pretty good. Now tell me, is that not the baddest steak? Oh, reminds me of Little Rascals when Spanky put a steak on his black eye. What's better? Oh, I didn't seal that one. Silly rabbit. I'll save that for these. Put that in a sealed one. So that was a pretty big steak, that first one, and these guys have some room, so I'm going to try and fit 2 in this one. See if I can sneak that in there. Oh yeah. I'll tell you, the best thing in the world is when you're hungry and you look in the freezer and you got a couple of these staring back at you. That is just the feeling you get knowing you've got food on hand. It's so nice. I used to live in a big city, and every meal you have to run out to the corner store and, you know, grab food for that night, and never bothered storing anything. It wasn't until I left the city and lived out in the country and in upstate New York that I learned how to do some prepping. Those people up there really, it's like generations of knowledge passed on. People up there do a lot of canning, a lot of hunting, a lot of venison prep, which that's the best thing in the world. Up here in Alaska, we got caribou and elk and all kinds of yummy game. Not to mention moose. The other day I had a moose right in the front yard sitting there. Woke up in the morning, had a cup of coffee, and I looked out the window and there was a moose sitting right there, right between the birch trees. Unfortunately, it's not legal to shoot a moose in your front yard, but that would have been great. Nothing better than fresh meat, whether it's fish or moose, hell, squirrel, anything fresh is good. I've been doing some stocking of canned goods, and I've got now a couple of cabinets, which I think I'll do a video of all the cabinets I just built on wheels so I can roll them around the garage and keep things clean and organized and off the floor. Just went and bought a ton of food at the store, and it's just a good feeling, you know, after seeing all these reports on the news about what's going on in the world. And you got to figure, you know, just because we live here in the States doesn't mean we're immune to those kinds of problems that other people have. I can't imagine just waking up one day and there's no civil services, no comforts of modern society. So I think the sooner people come to terms with the fact that that's a possibility here, you know, that could happen. That could happen to us here someday soon. Alright, so what I got going now, got some nice steaks, some of those nice sirloin nuggets, and some really nice looking shish kebab. They might be a little too big, but that's going to be stuff in my freezer. So what I'll do is when I thaw this out, what I can already see happening is I'll do half of it shish kebab, and then maybe the rest I'll do in a recipe of some kind of stew or something. So, you know, for a couple people that actually, well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be tasty no matter how I divide it. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to do another batch of the sauce here in my little blender, and basically what I'm going to do is, this was that stuff that I did earlier, and that's soak in there. And what I like to do is open the air out, fold it so I can squeeze all that air out. This stuff is going to be in the dehydrator tomorrow morning, so there's no need to put it in one of these nice bags. Just that's fine. Most of the air is out. It's really going to get good and soaked in that wonderful juice. Alright, so got this going, and that's that. I'm going to do a little sealing, and then tomorrow I think I'll do a dehydrator video and show some people what I do for making jerky. Alright?